From your local grocer, one more time. This is Kurt Berglund with a Pine Tar Baseball Negro League's Great Team Set preview and update on the next team in the series. We're doing one video per team in the set. There will be 12 in all. This is number 6 in the series today. And we have a Kickstarter going on for this set right now, active, and I will link it below in the description of the video. Find out more about Pine Tar Baseball at ttlbaseballgame.com. If you'd like a free Great Negro League team for free, did I mention that it's free? The 1934 Philadelphia Stars are free for the asking. Either join our Facebook page for Pine Tar Baseball or email me at berglundkurt@gmail.com. I'll put both of those down below in the video description as well. 12 teams in the set, all for Pine Tar Baseball. We've researched the 12 best teams that we think were in Negro League's history between the years 1910 and 1947. And we've come up with 12 teams, and today we are up to team number 6. They are being presented in no particular order, just sort of random. And today it's the 1917 Chicago American Giants. The 1917 Chicago American Giants, owned and managed by the very famous and probably the single most important person in Negro League's history, Rube Foster, who was also a great pitcher. 1917 puts us smack dab in the middle of the dead ball period for baseball. This is a Chicago American Giants team with some historically fantastic, legendary Negro Leagues ball players who were perhaps just passing their prime. And this team is noteworthy. It's ranked number 5 all time by Jim Riley, who wrote this book, The Biographical Encyclopedia of Negro Leagues Baseball. Number 5 all time by Jim. No, I'm sorry. I messed that up. It's number 14 all time by Jim Riley. Number 5 all time by Dick Clark. Not that Dick Clark. Negro League's baseball historian. This team finished first place in the Western Independent Clubs. That was the sort of very loosely organized league that they were in at that time. That Rube Foster put together. And let's tell you a little bit about the team and why it's so great. First of all, we'll start with team batting information. 4th in the league in batting, 3rd in on-base percentage, 4th in slugging percentage. For pitching, ERA, 1st. Batting average against, 1st. Walk to strikeout ratio, 1st. Whip, 1st. You getting a pattern? This team is a ball club that was definitely getting older. We already did our very first, no, I'm sorry, that's not true. The 3rd video we did was on the 1910 Chicago Lelands, which was an earlier version of the 1917 Chicago American Giants. This team. There are a few names that remained with this team for the 7 seasons between 1910 and 1917 that you will recognize. By 1917, of the 8 regular position players on the team, all of them were 27 years of age or older. 6 of the 8 were 29 or older, and 4 of the 8 were 31 or older. And so if you think about what conditioning was probably like back in the 1917 time period, in fact, in the dead ball time period, just generally, these gentlemen were nearing the end, and they're making a run here, and it's important to realize how it was that they were able to win. Let's talk about the roster. 15 people are carded, 15 players are carded in this set. Of course, we know that Negro Leagues teams ranged in roster size somewhere between 14 and 18 or 19 on the very high end. Dead ball period, we're talking 14 to 16 typically players signed by the owners because players cost money. And the more players you had, the less revenue you brought in, unless they were really good. So the 15 players that are carded in this set are pitchers Dick Redding, Tom Williams, Tom Johnson, Dick Whitworth, Rube Foster, and Frank Wickware. The position player, and of course, in this time period as well, the pitchers were not one-way players. They would be asked to play the field sometimes as well. Their cards for this set reflect that if they played a position as well. Position players were Bruce Petway, Leroy Grant, Bingo DeMoss, Bill Francis, John Henry Lloyd, Frank Duncan, Pete Hill, Jesse Barber, and George Dixon. There's your 15. Rube Foster was a player manager. All right, so let's talk about individual performances on the team. Pop Lloyd was 33 years old. He was the starting shortstop. He may be the best player ever in Negro Leagues history. He was called the Black Honus Wagner. His splits for this season were 301 batting average, 348 on base average, and 442 slugging, which in the dead ball period for a 33-year-old man, a 442 slugging percentage, pretty impressive. Pete Hill, 34 years old, called the first Cool Papa Bell. In some ways, he was a much better player than Cool Papa Bell, but his splits were 244 batting average, 381 on base, and 316 slugging. But it's on the mound that this team set itself apart. Cannonball Dick Redding, 0.70 ERA, 0.70 ERA in 153 innings pitched. Tom Williams, 1.28 ERA in 126 innings pitched. And Tom Johnson with a 2.57 ERA in 98 innings pitched. Frank Wickware, the old ace from the 1910 squad, had a 1.21 ERA. So let's talk about batting order. This is a commonly used batting order by the team in 1917. Frank Duncan led off in left field. Bill Francis batted second at third base. Pete Hill batted third and center. Pop Lloyd cleaned up at shortstop. Jesse Barber batted fifth in right field. Leroy Grant batted sixth at first base. Bingo DeMoss batted seventh and played second. And Bruce Petway, I don't know, maybe the fourth or fifth best catcher in Negro Leagues history, batted eighth and was the catcher. So we come to that part of the video now where we talk about this team in relation to the others in the set. What makes this team great? Why will it win your league or tournament that you set up with this team? These videos are intended to be a resource for you not only to see what the set is like and to learn a little bit about the players and the teams involved, but also as a resource for you after you buy the set so that you can refer back to it in case you forgot something. When you get the set, I have written a PDF with one page on each of these teams that includes much of the information that I'm going through in this video, so that you have that to refer to as well. The last question for each team, the questions for each team, are why will this team win your league or tournament, and then why won't this league win your league or tournament? So what I'm trying to do is to give you a glimpse into what it seems like will be the case for why this team will be successful in your simulation or why it might not be. So let's talk about the good news. Why will this team win your league or tournament? Well, this team is loaded with two things. First thing is outstanding pitching. Dick Redding had an amazing fastball and just blew people away. The pitching staff here is 4 or 5 great pitchers deep. It's going to be tough to score on this team. When you combine that with the fact that the defense is made up of veterans who knew how to play the game, you're going to get better than average range and a minimum of errors. This team will not beat itself. In fact, it's probably going to blow your hitters away with strikeouts and easy plays on defense. So this is one of the teams in the set, probably one of the top 2 or 3 teams in terms of pitching, that is going to be able to shut down some of the high-powered offenses. I'm thinking now about the Homestead Grays of 1931 and the Pittsburgh Crawfords of 1935 and the St. Louis Stars of 1928. Teams that had major batting offensive attacks. This team has the potential to shut those teams down. If they do, they're only going to need a few runs to win. Why won't this team win your league or tournament? Pop Lloyd may, as I said before, might be the best player in Negro League's history. Certainly the best dead ball period player in Negro League's history. Pete Hill is on a very short list of the greatest players in Negro League's history. Certainly, I would say top 15 or 20. Both of these men played almost their entire careers in the dead ball period. But both of these men by 1917 were on the downside of their careers and were not the towering forces offensively that they were for the 1910 squad. If this team does give up runs, if they are scored upon, and that's going to be tough to do, they may have trouble catching up. It's a dead ball team relying on speed, on-base percentage, and running the bases like crazy, putting pressure on the defense. If they get behind, it might be tough to catch up. The problem for their opponents is it's going to be tough to make them get behind. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. I think they're going to match up well. It's going to be interesting, though, to see how they compete against their other great team's opponents. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. I appreciate it very much. Check out the Kickstarter and the link below. I think you're going to really enjoy this set. My name's Kurt Berglund. Please click like and subscribe to my channel. Tomorrow, in video number 7, we're presenting the team that is pretty much the opposite of this one, and that is the 1928 St. Louis Stars. Going to be fun. Join me for that, and I'll see you at that time. Please click like and subscribe. Have a good day. So long, everybody.